Thank you for joining. My name is Ramakrishnan, and this video is specifically targeted towards professional services folks, and particularly those in advertising and marketing industry like me. It is titled Think Like a Streamer, and it's about tips to ace presentations in this virtual meeting world. All right. Now, uh, a bit of a disclaimer and a caveat here. I don't claim to know it all. So this video is neither exhaustive nor prescriptive, and it is based on what I know as on December 2020. This is not meant to be a tutorial specifically, but it can probably give you all some ideas and places to look for. Rest is up to you. Also, I use a Mac, and it is possible that the PC ecosystem may have different solutions. So please do keep in mind while researching. Uh, and I'm doing the whole recording on a Zoom call. So whatever you see on screen is being controlled by me while doing the presentation. And hopefully this will be done in one continuous real-time take. Let's begin, right? So our industry, the professional services industry, and particularly the creative industry, advertising and marketing industry, relies heavily on face-to-face presentations to create the magic. And it is very important for that human connection and the feel. And we use lots of presentation tools, and particularly PowerPoint being one of it, where we use that as a canvas for ideas and bring it alive in front of our audiences in the hope to sell magical campaigns and great ideas and get them to see the light of the day. However, this has also led to a lot of issues about PowerPoint dependency. And as you can see here, as Dilbert says, it's PowerPoint poisoning. All right. Um, so, so far, so good. However, in this current world where we are operating remotely and most of the presentations are remote, um, and you are hearing these gorgeous quotes all across. Can you hear me? You're breaking up. Um, you're on mute. Can you see my slides? Can everyone see my slides? Um, I think I lost you there. Can you repeat your slides? All these things are the most often heard quotes right now. And this does not bode well for our industry and does not bode well for the way we present and what we are used to it. So what's the solution? So there are some basic steps, and let's just get it over with, because this is, in my opinion, pure hygiene. All right. First, please install all the usual apps, browser shortcuts, and sign up to each one of them. You don't want to get into a meeting and then you're trying to sign up and figure out what's your password and all that stuff. So please do that beforehand. Use a tool to keep track of all meetings in one place with one click to jump in. And I'm using a tool called Meter, and hopefully I'll share with you how does that work. Set the camera to eye level. Okay. Even mine is not 100% at eye level, is slightly higher, but at least the camera is not looking up my face or down my face or in some obscure angle. You don't want people to see different angle. They want to see you right in front, in smack in the center, and hopefully talking while looking at the camera. All right. Sit with light on your face and not behind. And there are ample number of times I've seen that people have backlit their curtains and everything, and the camera is facing that, and they are in a dark silhouette. It looks like more like an alcoholic anonymous interview rather than a Zoom call or a proper presentation. So please, let's try it out and try different positions and do the test before you starting the call. And after this is one very, very important thing. Use external Bluetooth keyboard, camera, mic, or earphones if possible. All right. This is because the camera, the built-in cameras in your laptop, whatever Mac or PC that you're using, and the built-in microphones are designed to be compact and integrated into the system, but that doesn't help in majority of the cases when you are using you're typing on the screen, you're typing on your laptop, and that sound is carried in the microphone, and you're too close to the camera because the laptop camera is right there. So it is designed for mobility purposes, but if you're working from home or a fixed setup, then please see whether it's possible to get an external mic and an external keyboard. A Bluetooth keyboard will help you keep a distance from the camera as much as possible and the distance from the screen so that you are perfectly in view of the audience, right? Uh, be ready for the meeting ahead of schedule to test out the software and update if required. Many times it happens, it's a very simple issue, and a lot of people get it wrong that the meeting is at 3 o'clock, you join it at 3 o'clock, and then you realize, oh my God, the Cisco WebEx needs an update or there is an upgrade on the Teams, and that's it. It's gone. Dress up appropriately. Uh, Means your the portion that's visible on the screen, it's your call. At least be as presentable as possible and rehearse well, uh, and then action. All right, that's it. So this is the basic stuff. You have these things under your control, and you can probably do these things pretty well. All right, now let me quickly show you my screen. um, and This is essentially what my current screen looks like. Please don't be shocked by it right now. But what I wanted to show you was this. Please follow my cursor, and you will see that I have this tool installed called Meter, Meter. All right, and this tool, as you see, has all my upcoming presentations. You can set it for 10 days or you can set it for 12 days, and you can join it with one click on the button there. All right. And this button is like you have Zoom or you have Teams or you have Google Meet and so on and so forth. You don't have to go into that particular calendar and you don't have to actually find the link. So it is very easy and you just click on it. It automatically opens it depending on what setting you have. All right. Uh, then I have one very interesting tool, which probably would be very useful. Sometimes you need to look at your appearance. You need to see whether your camera face is particularly good. So there is this hand mirror app which I found very interesting. So you click on it, you'll be able to see whether you're looking okay, and everything is perfect, aligned, and then you can go ahead with your rest of the stream. So we'll come back to these things again. And this is so just to give you a layout, this on the top left is my Zoom screen that you are actually, that I'm streaming to my audience and recording in this case. And these are a few other tools that I've been using. All right, and we'll come to what are these tools for. So now that we have seen all the basic stuff that is important and is non-negotiable. However, it is quite possible, it's very much possible that you may still face a situation like this. And I really love this video. Please have a look.
Hey, Paul. Thanks for being here on time. Paul? Hey, Paul, can you hear me? I can't hear you. I can hear you. Can you hear me? Hey, guys. Hey, Tyler.
Sorry I'm late. Having a hard time connecting.
1 second. Paul's having a sound issue.
I can't hear you. Try adjusting your output settings. Can you hear me? It's the gear icon.
Tyler, are you on hotel Wi-Fi?
Yeah, well. Never mind, I got it. I just had to change a few settings.
Great. Maybe we get started then. Oh, great.
I think your mic is your speakers. My mic?
Do you have headphones?
Want me to put them on?
No, I want you to smell them. No, I want you to put them on. Hey, Beth.
Hey everyone, sorry I'm late. I had to download a new version of the platform.
You should plan extra time for the updates. There's pretty much one every time.
Sounds like someone just joined me.
Hey guys, it's John. I had to call in. I'm stuck in traffic. Have I missed anything yet?
The irony of this video is that this was made by Zoom 5 years ago, as you can see the date here. It is essentially 2015 uh, November. All right. So it is exactly 5 years ago that this video was made. And I don't think that in the last 5 years we have even covered all these problems. Some of them have been covered, but most of them have not been covered. All right. So you may do all the basic things that you saw in my previous slide. All the steps, you're looking good, your softwares are ready and everything. Yet you may uh, still face a problem, and that's because it's fundamentally the issue lies in this particular diagram. All right. There is you. All right. So there is your hardware and your network. All right. Then there is where you have some control, which you have actually done. But then there is the viewer and the hardware and the network that they are using. Uh, and you don't have any control about that. All right. And then you have the conference platform. Okay. Which there are certain controls, there are which depends with limitations. But however, one of the key things is that this particular platform and whatever platforms that we are using mostly are optimized for audio and your video. That means it is optimized for the voice call. It is optimized for the video that you're sending it through the camera into the software. All right. But moment you start using a presentation tool like a PowerPoint, then it becomes a nightmare. Moment you start sharing videos, not it becomes a nightmare. Yeah, it's a huge problem that everyone is going through, and there are no real solutions to it yet. All right, uh, and so the issue can be brought about in a few ways, and there is a diagnosis that we can do in terms of finding a solution towards it. There's no real proper solution, as I said, but there could be certain solutions. The way to start looking at it is like this. Most of the softwares right now, the centerpiece that you saw, the red ones, the video conferencing tools, have started off with one of these industries that you see on top. You the voice conferencing, the very much the 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 core people who had voice conferencing, so they are into this space, like Cisco, Webex. Then you have video calling people, Zoom, who have been around for quite some time, but they started with video calling as their core. Then you have social media like WhatsApp, Messenger, wherein it's about FaceTiming, it's about calling through video calls, right? Through a social network. Then you have presentation tools players, and the biggest one of them is Microsoft Teams. They are also into this play. And then last but not the least, the cloud storage fellows, like Google. They are also, they have a tool into the play. And all of them are, every day there is a new version, there is a new update, and they're all trying to jostle for that space, which is essentially about trying to get the share of mind and the share of conferencing capabilities and users to their side. And each of them had their own play and their own strategies. But what I feel that the new breed of platforms that will succeed will be a sort of uh, a mixture of all these things, okay, plus adding something which is pretty well known and pretty well established as an industry, which is streaming and streaming specialist. So there are streaming softwares which are very, very popular, as you know about Twitch or YouTube itself or Facebook Live. They combine with all these other industries from which this whole video conferencing and peer-to-peer sharing platforms are going to come out, or the winner is sort of the coronation is done in the next year. But it could be possibly a mixture, or someone who is able to get all these things right. All right. Now, for finding our solution for us and our purposes, what I have done is I started looking at streaming as an option because come to think about it, streamers have been doing this and they have been super successful in this for very, very long. All right. And they are the ones who are essentially either playing or demonstrating and live streaming at the same time. And they have cracked it. And we all have been consuming the content for very long and they have cracked it. So there must be something that they know. So my hypothesis and my suggestion right now is if you want to win this and you want to take this to the next level, take your presentation, then don't think how you would typically think that you have a presentation tool and there will be an audience and all the assets that you are putting together is for a face-to-face presentation. Think more like what a streamer would do. And how does a streamer put together the story? The streamer is actually doing the presentation like what I'm doing right now, and he's also sharing a tool by which he would be able to tell the story across. So when you start thinking like a professional streamer, at that moment, um, it's a rabbit hole that you can get into very seamlessly. Now let me show you. All right. And it's going to be, you need to do some research, and this is how the research will start. So for example, you start with a simple uh, uh, search for some basic setups of video conferencing, work from home meeting general. You will have tons of videos. All right. And you will have tons of articles as to how to create the best video conferencing setup, 10 tips. There are all these things that I've been telling you, so no rocket science in this. All right. What would you need to set up a video conference, and so on and so forth. All right. So as you go through this, you will start obviously coming to a point about asking about what is the best software for streaming. And when you talk about the best software for streaming, all right, at that moment, one name keeps on coming up. Okay. Uh, that name is essentially OBS, XSplit, but OBS comes out much, much more in most of the thing. It's open broadcast software. All right. Now OBS is a software which is used by majority of the streamers because it's free. All right, and it's open. It's complicated. That's the biggest flaw at the moment. But if you're serious, and it's got the most functionalities and the most flexibilities, and it will be an awesome software for you to use if you can do it and if you have been utilizing it. All right. So this is one. But however, um, OBS may not be to certain people's liking because of the complications and because you need a bit slightly more simpler solution. So all you have to do is just start searching for best alternatives for OBS. And as you start getting into the best alternatives for OBS, you'll start getting into multiple other tools, whether it's Streamlabs or XSplit or Wirecast, or you will get into app, and there are many others. All right. So as you keep searching, you will come across a name called Elgato. All right. And Elgato is a brand that is that has that is the specialist streaming specialist brand. And I came across this brand, and they make some phenomenal products and quite expensive products. Right. And as they have products to create a studio, they have green screens, they have lights, they have got mics, and they have products which is like this one, the Epocam, all right, which I use, which can turn your existing phone into a webcam. So simple. You use your old phone instead of buying a webcam. You wanted a third party or a standalone cam. Instead of buying a webcam and investing it, use any of your old phone or your existing phone and convert that into a webcam. It's a software. It's a free software that you can use. It's got a paid version also. Similarly, so they have many other products which I will leave it to you to explore. I'll be putting all the links of the brands that I use underneath this video for you to explore more. But same way, this is an expensive and a very premium brand. Now, obviously, the next step is you can go and find alternatives to Elgato, and there are many that you can buy off the shelf and cheaper alternatives and much more lighter on the pocket. All right. So that is what I was saying. That moment you start thinking like a professional streamer, you will start getting these tools, and this rabbit hole will take you into a very different brand space. All right, and you will come to know about all these brands. All right, and these brands you may not have even come across earlier, but these are all the brands that will help you up the game of your streaming or your conferencing. Because come to think of it, both of these are almost similar in nature, because you are presenting something and you want something at your background as a presentation tool to demo or to show. Now, what does it all imply? And you see a lot of these brands here. You see Prezi video on top, you see Manicam, you see uh, all these, and OBS, obviously the original, all these are something what is called a virtual camera, right? And they sit smack in the middle of your hardware and the conference platform. So imagine it like this, that as I had told earlier, that the conference platforms are optimized to send your video and your audio through it, right? These virtual cameras will essentially take your camera feed, add whatever layers to it, and they will pump it into the conference platform itself. And most of the conference platforms have um, um, easy link or plugins for the external virtual cameras. All right, and these are not real cameras, these are virtual cameras which plug into your existing cameras. So that's a point to remember. So whatever you stream through this, whether it's a video, whether it's a file, whether it's a slide like what I'm doing right now, all of these things will be streamed without a problem, because the platform is already optimized for it. All right, so now let me go back to the whole screen that you're seeing. And this is my desktop. Here, as you can see in Zoom, and this will be almost a similar kind of UI for other conferencing thing, where you go to the video settings and you will see all the different cameras that are here. All right. So in my case, I have a Logitech webcam. I have my FaceTime, which is on my laptop. Then I have a Prezi video camera, virtual camera. I have a Nikon webcam utility. You can download it. If you have an old Nikon DSLR, actually you can convert it into a webcam immediately. Then you can go and search for it. There is Epoch Cam, which you saw, which is Elgato one, which I will demo it to you. I have fixed it to my old phone. So that gives me a different angle of presentation. I have Manicam. I have a pitch virtual camera, and this was the one which I was presenting to you in the first part. And right now I'm using a camera called mmhmm. All right, it's a startup, and as with many other startups which are coming in, this startup has got a very simple UI, which is this one that you see. All the slides that you were seeing at the moment, all the slides are right here. All right, at the below, what you can see here. See, these are the slides, and it has got multiple things where I can, make myself disappear, come back, increase, and move about the screen and make it more interactive and more fun, which obviously adds sort of a pizzazz to the presentation. All right, so that was about the way that you can select it. There's a caveat here that some systems like Teams or WebEx, they probably haven't got the game in fully yet in terms of allowing virtual cameras. Sometimes I face certain difficulties in attaching it. Teams is slightly better, but WebEx has issues with virtual cameras. So you may want to find some hacks to it as you go online. All right. So that's about virtual cameras. The virtual cameras will make sure that you have some great control, at least right up to the conference platform. After that, it is all depending on the bandwidth, all depending on the hardware that you have, all depending on your content. Ultimately, content will win the game. So you cannot expect that this will overshadow a bad quality in the content. So keep the content precise and right, and make sure that this one is clearly gives you an edge by using virtual camera as a live streaming software. And as I've said earlier, there may be many differences and many changes as the year progresses, with many new startups coming in. And one of the big key reasons that we share decks in our line of work is for sharing videos. Now here, look at this video, and I have just put it on my virtual camera using the software, and you can see it. And I'm talking through. This is an augmented reality BMW that we have launched, and you can see the play. I can talk about it. I can describe what is going on. All right, and actually, this is not a video. All right, it is playing smoothly because this is a GIF. I have converted the video into a GIF that makes it easier for us to transmit the data because it's a lighter file. It The encoding is much more simpler, and most of the platforms will be able to transmit it on any kind of network without too much of a lag, which is a big issue. All right, and you can talk over it, you can demonstrate it, and so on and so forth. All right, so that brings me. Let me just now change to the Prezi camera. Okay, and that's a very interesting camera that I found. And some people may remember that Prezi was back in, I think, 10 years ago. They had these very nice, awesome presentation modules. It was very cute. They could turn and give those animations, very nice animations. Um, and however, they didn't take off much, and present PPT was still the ruler. But now I think they have come back because the same technique that they used the animations in those days can be used for a much better feel. So I'm now switching over to the Prezi Cam, all right, and I'm using my Epocam app on my phone, which is placed right here. So uh, going to the Prezi Cam, all right, let me quickly first go back to uh, all the slides now. All right, okay, there are three things that I want you to remember as you move. Okay, and these are like nice little sweets that you can take away. Beyond all the basics, please use as far as possible the GIFs instead of videos. That will help you a lot. Lighter, much better to transmit. Use YouTube in a Chrome tab to share a video instead of embedding it in your deck. All right. As the video that I was sharing to you was on a Chrome tab. Usually Google and YouTube have cracked the streaming YouTube platform anyhow, and they are probably the best way to stream at any kind of speed or any kind of hardware, and it works across the board. So please use that. Right. Third, please reduce the resolutions of the pictures in your slide as far as possible, so that at least it's not heavy. So please, there's no need for putting up very heavy duty files and then expecting it to be completely working without a lag, essentially. All right. Uh, and last but not the least, keep refreshing and to research on new tools and techniques. Whatever I'm sharing right now is just it's a tip of the iceberg, and things are bound to improve as we go along. And yes, that's about it. One good part about Prezi right now is that the entire PPT, it sort of ingests PPT into it. So if you have a PPT, you can ingest it like this. All right, think like a streamer. There are the slides, and you can flip through it while you're talking about it, and it's the same slides that I was presenting earlier, and you can actually go through the slides, see how, and you can actually double click, see that the new breed of platforms, you can talk more about it, and then you can go and figure out ways and means in terms of how um, this particular tool can help you tell your story in the best possible way. So please go ahead, use as much of these tools as you can. Don't be shy to research about it, and don't be shy to start using it and investing a bit onto a few of these softwares, a few of the hardware that might enhance it. Um, and yes, ultimately, it's all about how you are imagining things, and how you would like your presentation to be seen by your audience in the best possible way. All right. There are still a lot of limitations. You don't control what kind of platforms the calls are being held, and you'll have to find out uh, the ones that work for you the best. But I would urge you that please find a solution for all the platforms. Be ready for any kind of eventuality. All right. Okay. So last but not the least, think like a streamer. And I hope that all these tips um, were useful to you to ace the presentations in a virtual meeting world.